Hi, I'm John, and welcome to my INXS collection. On this episode, I'm going to show you all the 7-inch singles. Now, a 7-inch single looks like this. It's a record, and it's called a 7-inch because the diameter is 7 inches. They also call it a 45 because when you play it on a turntable, it spins at 45 rounds per minute, RPM. The great thing about INXS singles is that on the front side, the A side would be like a hit single you know, like Need You Tonight. But on the B side would be a different song that wasn't on any album. It'd be like a bonus song you couldn't get anywhere else, but if you got these 7-inch singles. I don't have all of these 7-inch singles, but I do have enough to make this video. We're going to start off with the very first INXS single. Now this came out before their very first album. This song wasn't even on the first album. This is We Are the Vegetables in Simple Simon. Now Simple Simon was the A side, it was their single, and We Are the Vegetables was their bonus B side. And this came out in 1980. Next up, I have the first single that was actually on an album, Just Keep Walking. And on the B side is a song called Scratch. After that, they put another single out. Now this single came out between their first and second album, so this single never did appear on an album. And it was a cover of a song called The Loved One. Now this came out in 1980. The B-side was called The Unloved One. And later, they redid the song again for their Kick album in 1987. This single had no picture sleeve. So a lot of these records that I'm going to show you have pictures and cool artwork, but some singles didn't have any. Now the first single off their Underneath the Colors album was Stay Young. And the B-side on this one here is called Lack a Vocal because it lacks vocals. It's an instrumental. Interesting picture here of them in costumes. Kind of like the Village People, maybe. Their next album was Shabu Shaba. And the first single off that was The One Thing. So here's The One Thing. And on the B-side is a song called Space Shuttle. Yesterday I bought a space shuttle. Here I have another of The One Thing. And sometimes in different regions of the world, there'll be different songs on the B-side. So in this case, this B-side is called The Phantom of the Opera. So the back looks a lot the same, but different B-sides. That's why you gotta collect them all. And here's another of The One Thing. Now this is from Japan, and so it has a completely different looking artwork on it. And it looks like it was actually made a lot later. And what's the B-side on this one? B-side on this one was Space Shuttle. On these Japanese singles, the artwork is part of the outside plastic, and there's a regular sleeve to go inside. Next on their Shabu Shaba album was a song called Don't Change. This is a fan favorite. Every concert they've played for the last few decades, they've always ended with this song, Don't Change. And this one has a B-side called You Never Used to Cry. I heard a rumor that this song was completely ad-libbed when it was recorded by John Ferris. He's the drummer. And here's another Don't Change. Completely different artwork as this one. And the B-side is a different song called Long Tooth. Oh, and what's this on the back of this one? It says, To John, that's me, I'm John, and it has 2 autographs. I'm not sure whose these are actually. I think that's Kirk. I think it's the other one. So I have 2 autographs from the band on that one. And here is another Japanese version of this song. Completely different artwork on the front. The B-side is a different song called Go West. Time you see me like I see you. All these songs that you can't get on any albums. This is great. This is why getting the INXS singles is very exciting. Now another single, this is like a 4 single off Shabu Shaba, one of my favorite songs, is called To Look At You. And so here it is. And it has a B-side called The Sax Thing. It's an instrumental by Kirk Pengilly. He's the sax player and guitar player for the band. This is one of my favorite songs. And I have another one. You're like, John, that looks just like the last one. Well, this is a little more special because it folds open. Look at this. Look at this. There's even more artwork inside. And this is not just a single record. It's 2 records. So there's To Look At You, of course, A-side. And then there's a redo of one of their songs called Here Comes. It's called Here Comes 2. Here comes the song I know. And then it has The Sax Thing, which we've talked about before, and You Never Used to Cry. So you can see there's a record here, and then over here, another record. Next came the Swing album. And the first single off the Swing was Original Sin. I think one of the first hits in the USA. And on the B-side of this is Stay Young, which is actually a song from their previous album. And look, another one. This one says Numero 1 en Australia. Now it's said that weird way because this is actually from France. And so it's a slightly different version. And the B-side is To Look At You, a song from before. But this is a live version of the song, not the studio version. And here's another version of Original Sin. Now you might think, hey, this is not very exciting. There's no picture sleeve. But this one's autographed. Not by anyone in the band, though. This is autographed by a guy named Steve Anthony, who is a VJ to Much Music in Toronto, Canada. He said, John, $4 is way too much to pay for a single. Oh well, Steve Anthony, Much Music, 89. I saw him walking down the street, Queen Street, near an old record store. And that's all I had from Design, so there you go. Next off of The Swing is a single called I Send a Message. And this one, the B-side is Mechanical. Here's another version of that single, different artwork on the front for I Send a Message. And the B-side is still Mechanical. And this one has a thicker kind of sleeve. It looks like an envelope because, you know, we're sending a message. Get it? So it's an envelope with the record inside. And here again is the Japanese version of I Send a Message. And the B-side for this one is Mechanical. The next single from The Swing was a song called Burn For You. And here it is. And the B-side says Johnson's Aeroplane. Previously unreleased version. So Johnson's Aeroplane was a song on a previous album, or this album, but they've did a remix version of that song. And here it is again, Burn For You. Now this is a promo copy, which means they sent these out to radio stations and stuff like that. And usually what's different about these records is it says promo only, not for sale. And also, you don't have the big holes, like normally these have big holes in the middle. But for the promos, you have a small needle to play them. I don't know why. And then their last single from the swing is a song called Dancing on the Jetty. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what a jetty means. Why would you dance on it? And the B-side is called The Harbor with a U because they're from Australia. This is not an INXS single. However, this is a record where Michael Hutchence appears on. And I've checked the rules, and according to the rules, I'm allowed to talk about this record on this episode. So Flame Fortune is a singer, I guess that's her. And there's 2 songs on here. One is called Sex Symbol, and the other is called Jungle Boy. And this is interesting. It's orange. It's an orange record. And has all interesting writing on the back of it. So Sex Symbol, I guess, is the A side. And Jungle Boy will be the B side. And it's produced by Fabian Sparkle, Michael Hutchence, and Mark Opitz. And of course, Mark Opitz produced many INXS albums. Now we come to their album, Listen Like Thieves. And the first song off Listen Like Thieves was This Time. Great song. And here's a single. And the B-side is a song called I'm Over You. And that is a song by John Ferris, who's the drummer of the band. And that's a great song. I love that one. And here it is again, This Time. Now this time, the B-side is Sweet as Sin. And this is a song by Gary Beers, who is the bass player of the band. Sweet as sin, and in the state I'm in. Look, it's another version of This Time. Now we have, again, it's a folding up. This is called a gatefold sleeve. And it says, This Time, INXS 2 record set. So we have the song, and I have the records here. This Time, the single. There's Original Sin. It's an extended version, the bonus song. Then this second record, it's Burn For You, the extended remix. And then Dancing on the Jetty, one of the previous singles. So that's a whole lot of records. This is probably their big breakthrough in the US of A song called What You Need. It was actually the second single off Listen Like Thieves. And the B-side for this one is Sweet as Sin, which we saw earlier was a B-side from This Time. And here's the Japanese version. And what's the B-side of the Japanese version? It's also Sweet as Sin. The next single from their Listen Like Thieves album was Kiss the Dirt, Falling Down the Mountain, in parentheses. One of my favorite songs. So the A side, Kiss the Dirt. And side 2, this side 2 has 2 bonus songs. 6 Knots, which is by Kirk Pengilly, the sax and guitar player. There were 6 knots in the road, from 6 times that it's been broken. And The One Thing, this is a live version of The One Thing. And here's another one of Kiss the Dirt. Now you say, hey, they look identical. Pretty much. But this is what the back of this one looks like. In this one, it opens up. Look at this. So the back looks like that. It opens up like this. Cool. Has the same songs. 6 Knots and The One Thing. Here's another Kiss the Dirt single. Front cover looks different this time. These are shots from the music video. Same songs though. It's got Kiss the Dirt, and on the B side it's 6 Knots and The One Thing. Look, it's another Kiss the Dirt, Falling Down the Mountain. Now this is an extra expanded 2 record set, limited edition. So it's got Kiss the Dirt, 6 Knots, The One Thing, so all those songs in the previous versions. Plus, it's got This Time and Original Sin long version. It's like there's a whole other single inside. This looks a lot like the first time we saw the This Time single. And here's a promo version. Has a small hole. Here is Listen Like Thieves, the 4th single off Listen Like Thieves. Now this is an interesting cover because it says, "To John." That's me. Thanks, mate. And it's got 2 autographs on it. I need to find out whose those were. But I had this autographed personally by band members. And the B-side from this one is Begotten. It's another sax instrumental song by Kirk Pengilly. Here's Listen Like Thieves again. Different cover and different B-side. The B-side in this one is Different World. This Different World is a song that appeared in the movie Crocodile Dundee. Here's another version of Listen Like Thieves. Now this one has 4 songs. Listen Like Thieves, B-side, Begotten, and this is a 2-record set. So the second record has a song called One by One Live, and another one, not a song, it's a track called XS Verbiage. It's an INXS interview, so you can listen to them talking about stuff. This one's in an envelope. It's hard to open. Open the envelope, and here's your 2 records. Next up, this is not an INXS song. This is from Michael Hutchence when he was in the movie Dogs in Space. Again, I checked the rules, and I'm allowed to show you this record on this episode. A-side, Rooms for the Memory. B-side, Golf Course. This is when Michael Hutchence worked with Ollie Olsen on the Dogs in Space movie. Here's Good Times. It's a duet between INXS and a guy named Jimmy Barnes. So Good Times was a song from the movie The Lost Boys. It was a hit single. Now the B-side on this record is a song called Laying Down the Law, also a duet between Jimmy Barnes and INXS. And Laying Down the Law is one of my favorite ever INXS songs. This is very exciting. It looks normal, but this is the very first INXS song or item I ever bought. This is Need You Tonight from their 1987 album Kick. I used to buy a lot of singles before I would buy albums. And the B-side on this one is I'm Coming Home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Now the first one I bought didn't have a picture sleeve, but of course, it came in a picture sleeve too. So here is Need You Tonight picture sleeve with, again, I'm Coming Home on the B-side. And that's a very interesting song. I like it a lot. It's by Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is the guitarist of the band. Look, it's Need You Tonight again. This is the British version. And it's got a different B-side. The B-side on this is Move On, which is another great song. Makes you wonder why it wasn't on the album. Look, it's another Need You Tonight single. And this one is a special 7-inch magic pack. And so if we open like this, ooh, there's like pictures inside. All these postcards. Here's the record, Need You Tonight, and then Move On again on the B-side. You can see the printing looks a little different, a little cooler. Oh. And there's a sleeve, a regular size sleeve, just like the last sleeve we saw. The next single off the Kick album was Devil Inside. Here it is, with the B-side, On the Rocks. On the Rocks is mostly instrumental, a lot of sax. It's written by and performed by Kirk Pengilly. Sounds like a loungy song. Hey buddy, you want it on the rocks? And here it is again, Devil Inside. Now this is a special limited edition 4-color postcard set. So it's an envelope. Opens up like this. Oh, and here's 4 postcards. Here's Andrew Ferris. Here's Kirk Pengilly. Here's Gary Beers. Here is John Ferris. Here is Tim Ferris. And here is Michael Hutchins. And then inside there is the record, just like the last one, with On the Rocks on the B-side. And here we have Devil Inside again. This is the Japanese version, and the B-side is also On the Rocks. Now we have INXS New Sensation. So here it is. Nice lady there. And with the B-side, Guns in the Sky, which is from the Kick album, but this is the Kookaburra mix. And here's another one. Now it looks the same, but if you'll notice in the corner, this one actually says Guns in the Sky. And this one spells Kookaburra mix differently. It starts with a C. This one starts with a K. I've since learned that Kookaburra is a bird in Australia. Look at this. This is New Sensation. It's called a picture disc. So you just put the needle on the lady's face and you play the song. This came from England, side A, New Sensation, of course. Side B, a song called Do What You Do. Another amazing song. This song actually appeared on the soundtrack from the movie Pretty in Pink. No one else can do what. Next we have Never Tear Us Apart. And the B-side is Different World. You might remember Different World from an earlier B-side. This is the song from the Crocodile Dundee movie. And look at this. It's another picture disc. So here's the A-side, Never Tear Us Apart. And B-side is Guns in the Sky from the Kick album, but this one is called the Kick-Ass remix. So there's 2 different remixes for Guns in the Sky on these B-sides. The last single from Kick, the 5th single, Mystify, and the B-side from this is Devil Inside, which is their 2nd single, of course, off the album. I have this other Mystify without a picture sleeve, and this one has a different B-side. This one is Move On. This song is not an INXS song. It's from a band called Max Q, which Michael Hutchins was a part of. Now I take the rules, and it's okay for me to show you this single on this episode. There's a big stamp on the back here saying promotional use, not for sale. Has the song Sometimes, the straight rock mix. And it has a song on the B-side called Love Man, which was not on the Max Q album. Then comes the first single off of the next album, X, Suicide Blonde. Now this has A-side, Suicide Blonde, and the B-side is Everybody Wants You Tonight. Next off X was Disappear. Now the A-side, Disappear, and then the B-side was a song called Middle Beast. This is a song by Gary Beers. Next, off the X album was a song called Bitter Tears. And then the B-side on this is a song called The Other Side. It's by Kirk Pengilly, sax guitar player. Look, it's a different cover for Bitter Tears. This one has a different B-side. This B-side is called Soothe Me by Andrew Ferris. He's a keyboardist and guitarist. Next single off X was By My Side. And the B-side on this one is The Other Side. It's another song by Kirk Pengilly. And look, it's another single with different artwork. This is the special 7-inch magic pack. Wonder what makes it magic. So it has A-side was By My Side. The B-side is The Other Side, just like we saw before. Ooh, this opens up like this. Looks like it has little postcards in it. Here's pictures of the band. And then here's the record. Looks just like this is the record I had. Their next album was Live Baby Live. So it's a live album. But they had one new studio track, and that was called Shining Star. And I have this single, and it opens up. It's called Gatefold. And so it had 4 songs on this record. There was Shining Star. It had now the live versions of I Send a Message and Faith in Each Other and Bitter Tears. Their next album was Welcome to Wherever You Are. And we have Heaven Sent was the first single. And the B-side is a song called It Ain't Easy by Andrew Ferris. Yeah! It ain't easy. Easy. Next single, Taste It. And the B-side was Light the Planet by Kirk Pengilly. Everybody gotta light the world up. Baby Don't Cry. You notice that none of the band appears on these covers from this album. Here's a little doggy. A-side, Baby Don't Cry. B-side, Questions. It's an instrumental. Next we had Beautiful Girl. And this one opens up. A-side, Beautiful Girl. B-side, Strange Desire, was a song on the LP. This is a different recording of that same song. Not available on the LP. It says right there. Then they had their Greatest Hits album, the first one, and they had a new song, and is called The Strangest Party. And so here is that record. And this one is stamped, so they only made 7,500 of these. This is number 1784 of 7,500. And what's interesting about this one is it's red. It's a little see-through, a little translucent. And the B-side from this is Wishing Well Courier Extended Mix.
Go down to the wishing well.
This is their last 7-inch single because the world stopped making 7-inch singles, mostly around 1990. But this is the last one from '94. This is a single for The Gift. It was their first single off Full Moon Dirty Hearts. And the B-side on this is the extended remix, The Gift Extended Mix. And that is my 7-inch single INXS Collection.